Hi everyone. Today, I'm going to walk you through creating a simple yet powerful React app that fetches a list of followers from GitHub and implements pagination. We'll break it down into reusable components, a custom hook, and utility functions. Let's get started. Now, I want to mention something really helpful that I'm using while coding, VS Code Copilot. It's an AI-powered code suggestion tool that helps me write code faster by offering real-time suggestions as I type. To begin, let's start by creating our app component. This will be the central hub of our application. First, I'm importing React, the useState and useEffect hooks, and our custom useFetch hook to handle API calls. We're also importing our follower component to display individual follower cards and styles. Here, we've defined three states. Page to keep track of the current page. Followers to store the followers on the active page. And we'll use data from our custom hook to populate the followers. Now, we use the useEffect hook to set the followers array whenever the data, loading, or page values change. This ensures our UI updates whenever the data is ready or when we change the page. Next, let's implement two helper functions, nextPage and prevPage. These handle pagination by updating the page state. If the user clicks Next and we're on the last page, we loop back to the first page. Similarly, if the user clicks Previous and we're on the first page, we loop back to the last page. This creates a seamless user experience. I'm also adding a function, handlePage, that lets users jump to a specific page by clicking on its number. This will directly set the page state to the selected index. Now let's design the UI for our app. At the top, I'm adding a title to indicate what the app does. Then, there's a section for displaying the follower cards. We map through the followers array and render a follower component for each entry. Finally, I'm creating navigation buttons for pagination. Previous and Next buttons to navigate through pages. Dynamically rendered buttons for each page, which become active when selected. I've wrapped the pagination buttons in a conditional statement to ensure they only render once the data is loaded. This avoids showing empty buttons during the loading state. Before moving forward, let's double-check our code for any typos. This is a crucial step because even small mistakes, like a missing bracket or a misspelled variable, can cause bugs or unexpected behavior. Now, let's move to the follower component. This component accepts three props, avatar URL, HTML URL, and login. We display the follower's avatar, their username, and a button linking to their GitHub profile. Using alt attributes for images ensures accessibility and improves user experience. To handle API calls, I've created a custom useFetch hook. Let's go over it. At the top of the file, I'm importing useState and useEffect hooks from React, and the Paginate utility function that we defined earlier. I've also defined the URL constant, which is the GitHub API endpoint we'll use to fetch a list of followers. We initialize two states, loading to track the fetch status and data to store the paginated followers. The getProducts function fetches data from the GitHub API. Notice the use of async/await for fetching data. This makes the code easier to read and handle compared to traditional promise chains. After fetching, we pass the data to the Paginate function to split it into smaller arrays, each representing a page. Finally, we return the loading and data states. The useEffect hook ensures the getProducts function runs once when the component mounts, triggering the API call. The Paginate function is where the magic happens. It calculates the number of pages by dividing the total number of followers by the items we want per page, in this case, 9. Then, it uses array.from to create a new array where each element is a slice of the original followers list. This approach keeps our logic modular and reusable. That's it. We now have a fully functional React app with pagination. Let's test it out by running the app and navigating through the pages. You can use this approach for any large dataset where pagination is required. Thanks for coding along with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials. See you next time.